Welcome. I'm Penny Simkin, and I'm here with Dr. Amy Gilliland, who is a doula researcher, and a doula trainer from Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And Amy, I'm really interested in some of the research that you've done on fathers and birth. And I wonder if you'd like to tell our audience a little bit about the work you've done and what you've learned.
You know, I think one of the most interesting things that I found was that looking at the research going back decades, and even in the current research, it shows that when fathers are alone to do labor support, their overwhelming feeling is anxiety and fear. And they feel really disappointed in themselves. And it's a real struggle for them. They don't feel like staff is open to answering their questions, which may be more of a factor is that it's hard to ask questions if you've been raised to think that that's a sign of weakness. But men are really overwhelmed. And the research is done on men, on fathers. They're very overwhelmed, and it's really hard. It's much more challenging than they expected to see their partner in pain, and not be able to alleviate it, even if it's her choice to go through labor. That the way they view that, it's extremely difficult. And the other thing I learned was that this idea we have in American culture, and actually in Western culture, that men should do labor support, and that whatever's happening for them personally or emotionally, that should totally be disregarded because it has no value because she is in labor. So that's what's most important, is this laboring person, and that's what's going on there, and what's happening for you emotionally, or your identity, or your development as a person, or growing into a father, or growing into a parent, that's irrelevant. And what we're finding is that it's not irrelevant at all. When men's emotional needs or need for information aren't met, that anxiety can become traumatic, and it definitely has negative effects in the postpartum period.
Well, how well prepared would you say that many of the fathers in your studies were for birth? I mean, did they know what to expect?
Well, these are studies that I have read. I have also conducted one. The only studies that show that men have enjoyed being at the birth are ones where they had one-on-one labor support, either from a midwife or from a doula. So in those studies, they felt that, I was free to participate and in the way that I wanted to, or in the way that felt right at the time. And there was someone there who could answer my questions. I never felt stupid. And this person encouraged me to be involved at the level that I wanted to, and gave me permission to either be really involved, if that's what I wanted, or to just sit back and say, this is hard. I thought this would be a lot easier than it is. And so that the other people there to do labor support said, that's fine. You know, take 5, go for a walk, go get a cup of coffee, and then come back in and feel that you're ready to be a part of the labor support. So
that if someone is there, they are free to take a break if they need to.
Whether that's the professional doula, or if you're in the UK or in Sweden, where these other 2 studies were done, where you have midwife support that's available to you. And if you don't have a doula, or you don't have that one-on-one care from a midwife, to bring in a knowledgeable friend, is somebody else who you feel safe with, and to be able to spell men, and also to participate in labor support, whether or not she's having an epidural or not. People think that when you have an epidural that takes away the pain and also takes away the emotional challenges, and that's not true at all. Having an epidural is still incredibly challenging for all family members, so emotionally, because it's still a birth, you know? And you need everybody. I think the change in values we need to have, that this research shows me, is that you need to value that all the members of that laboring person and her partner deserve emotional support. And for men, gendered men, especially, and biologic men especially, because the way they've grown up, they've thought, well, physical pain has more value than anything emotional. So we're on the verge of, I think, a big cultural shift of men saying, no, I matter too, and this was hard, and I need support, and to realize and recognize that they do deserve emotional support. This is a big deal. Labor and birth are a big deal.
Well, you have helped a lot to understand much of that. And any fathers that are watching us today, you matter. And you're having your own experience of birth that needs to be nurtured as well as the birthing woman's.
Yes,
right?
and any non-laboring partner deserves that support.
How much research is there on others who are not the father of the baby or the loved one of the mother?
You know, as the loved one of the mother who's not a biological parent and not a cisgendered father, which means that you identify as a male and you're biologically male, very little. You know, there's some on teens and their parents and stuff, mostly when it comes to doulas or looking at social support. We've got data about that.
Yeah.
But there's no negatives. You know, there's really no negatives to bringing a doula or somebody else along for labor support. There's so much to do at a birth. And I think people are surprised by that, you know, that and that the nurse can be with you, and she may be a wonderful, fabulous nurse, but usually she's only got 10 or 15 minutes, and a lot of that time she's also charting. So when she's in the room, and we have got good studies to show that nurses can come in and teach, and then they have to leave again. So that makes it difficult for everybody too.
I think you've told us some ways that fathers can be empowered to do the role that culture is expecting of them, but is not preparing them for.
Right. Well, it's kind of, saying that's your job, that's your role. And what young people, I think, are realizing is that, wait a minute, I might want to do that, but how am I going to do that? How that I'm not going to, professional doula or an experienced doula has taken days of training and gone to many births, and most parents take a 6 or 12-hour class that is on a variety of topics. And yet men put that on themselves that, I should be as effective in labor support as a professional. And, then we have a really high cesarean rate. And so sometimes men also feel like failures. That came across in the literature as well, that when their partner ends up with an unexpected cesarean section, that they also blame themselves. And sometimes the person who's had the cesarean, the mother or laboring person, feels that way too.
Yes.
So.
And that is not good.
And that is never a good start.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for all this.
Oh,
and I think this is food for thought, and we're going to improve the care of fathers during labor.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Penny.